Diddy Kong, everyone's favorite shirt-wearing, peanut-poppin' monkey. Sometimes he's the main hero and rescues big man Donkey Kong, and other times he gets replaced by a snowman. Today, we're gonna look at Diddy Kong's character in every single game he appears in, and rank him from worthless to elite. Diddy Kong first appeared in the original Donkey Kong Country, where he's DK's partner in crime. I honestly never knew the full plot of this game, just that the banana horde was missing and the Kremlings were to blame, but apparently DK left Diddy in charge of watching him overnight, and that's when the bad guys struck, sealing him into a barrel and looting the place of everything. Thankfully though, he's rescued in the first 30 seconds of the game and is a co-main character throughout, traversing all the same obstacles as Donkey and having mostly the same abilities, though he's a bit more agile and fragile. The cool part is that he's playable all by himself too. If DK goes down, you can continue on as just Diddy, so he's not overly reliant on him or anything. He's a fully capable character. I think that warrants an elite tier. Even if it doesn't start out the best for him, it's one hell of a redemption. Donkey Kong Land is a handheld port and retelling of the original Country game, so with Diddy's role being the same as before, it's getting ranked right up there. Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest is a pretty self-explanatory placement. The game opens with Donkey Kong getting captured this time, and instead of being in a barrel right outside, he's being held captive on K. Rool's ship, so you don't get his help until all the way at the end, leaving Diddy as his only hope. This guy's got game though. He rizzes up some ape broad, and her ponytail ass travels to the ends of the earth with him, working as a team, rescuing Donkey Kong, and defeating a full-on crocodile army as two small monkeys. It makes him out to be the leader, and more competent than ever before, and saving his mentor slash father figure is surely deserving of an elite tier. And since Donkey Kong Land 2 does the same thing with him, I'm doing the same thing with it. The third Donkey Kong Country game is named after Dixie Kong, because now both Donkey and Diddy get kidnapped and don't contribute at all. Instead, it's her and Kiddy Kong that come to the rescue, and needing these two to bail you out seems pretty freaking worthless. But this time, the third land game doesn't have the two of them getting captured. Instead, they're just absent, so he ain't even getting ranked here. Diddy Kong got his very own flagship racing game for the N64, and he may have been gypped for Mario Kart 64, but this game's got flying vehicles and a story mode, so suck on that. Outside of it being named after him though, there's other playable characters that you can use as much as you want in both multiplayer and the main campaign. Now, that's not a bad thing, obviously having some kind of roster is a must, but he has no standout significance outside of that namesake, and he only really gets that because, well, who are you people? It seems like a disservice to him, but he's really just an average playable character in the game.
You're watching a toothbrush play Billie Eilish, but did you
to him, but he's really just an average playable character in the game. In Donkey Kong 64, we get a way bigger cast of Kongs than ever before, but anyone not named Donkey gets locked up right at the start, but it doesn't last very long. Diddy's the first one rescued, and that's in the first half an hour of the game, so from that point on, he's a playable character, and a damn good one at that. He's dual-wielding the peanut pop guns, which are classic, he's got the rocket barrel boost, which is the best barrel move in the game and allows him to fly, and he's just the most fun to play as. Overall, it's a lot like the first Country game. K. Rool gets him at the start, but once he's free, he can go off on his own and contribute a ton, so elite. In the Donkey Konga games, Diddy and DK go on tour as bongo musicians, and while Diddy seemed to be a pretty good player, he only does anything in multiplayer, meaning you need to buy a second set of bongos. Without that, it's just DK playing, they're not in a band or anything. Diddy's at the bottom of the screen dancing, and plays the exact same role as this fucking elephant dude. Cameo tier's the best I can do for both of these. DK King of Swing's main adventure mode has you taking control of just Donkey Kong, but after beating it and collecting all 24 medals, you unlock Diddy mode, where— No, please, no more, have mercy, please! It's basically a hard mode where you control Diddy Kong, so it's showing him to be just as, if not more capable than the big gorilla himself. But if that's the case and he's not helping during the main conflicts, it can't go any higher than playable but average, and that's being generous. Diddy Kong Racing DS isn't a sequel, it's a port that swaps out Banjo and Conker for Dixie and Tiny, so Diddy Kong remains as the average playable simian. DK Jungle Climbers offers us more of that sweet King of Swing gameplay, but now Diddy Kong's riding along on DK's back and gives him a slew of new moves. You can launch him to places the Big Ape can't get to, and use a variety of power-ups, which come in clutch and allow them to take down the oh-so-menacing King K. Rool. He's not independent whatsoever, but he's a prime contributor that's vital to saving the day, so since he's attached to Donkey's back the entire time, he gets Jetpack Boy tier. Donkey Kong Barrel Blast is the forgotten bongo game because they scrapped the GameCube version, pushed it on Wii as a shitty launch title, and shoehorned in terrible motion controls to simulate hitting bongos. It doesn't work. Still, Diddy's just as prominent here as he is in any of his own racing games, being selectable whenever you want and not standing out a whole lot, so Donkey Kong Country Returns brings the classic duo back to the forefront for their first 2D platformer since the original almost 2 decades prior. Diddy Kong takes a serious backseat though. Instead of being a standalone Kong that travels alongside Donkey, he rides on his back to give him 2 extra hit points and a jetpack to slow his descent and make jumps a bit easier. Honestly, he's just a glorified power-up that is until you switch to multiplayer, where player 2 takes control of the little guy as a completely separate character, and he's by far the better one to play as. If single player offered him all by himself, he'd be going elite, but since that's not the case, he's going just below that as a jetpack boy. Tropical Freeze starts off with DK and his pals celebrating his birthday, when they're abruptly and so rudely interrupted by a bunch of snowmads that freeze DK Island. So they set out for adventure, and like DKC Returns, it's Donkey that takes center stage, while Diddy just kinda offers up his jetpack and takes the free piggyback ride. This game's also got Dixie Kong and Cranky Kong though, so Diddy's seen way less often, and is no longer the definitive choice for player 2. Even still, since his role is the same as Returns, it's going right next to it. Donkey Kong Bonanza just hit the scene, and Diddy Kong was essentially replaced by a younger version of Pauline. She's DK's companion, and Diddy is pretty much non-existent. We only see him through the Ramby Rumble, where he's running the stand out front alongside Dixie Kong. It's certainly better than nothing, and I'm glad he's at least here, but it's really just a cameo. He also appears in a ton of Mario spin-off games. That team name is crazy, but instead of going through each of those one by one and just saying he's average, I'm gonna highlight some of his more prominent roles. In Smash Bros. Brawl, he plays a decent role in the Subspace Emissary and is playable for quite a few levels. When we first see him, he and DK once again reclaim their stash of bananas, but then Bowser shows up and tries to turn the oblivious little guy into a statue, but Donkey Kong steps in, knocks him out of the way, and takes the hit himself. What a guy. Once he's off on his own, he gets joinked by Rayquaza and is basically toast, until Fox shows up and frees him. That's 2 straight saves the guy needed, not a great start. But then he drags along Fox and later some more guys to help him rescue DK, which he does manage to pull off, so it's a solid redemption. I wish I could give him more credit here, but he's made out to be kind of a scaredy cat and is a little too dependent on help from others, so anything higher than average would be outright incorrect. Beyond that though, there's honestly no other major spin-off appearances from the guy, but I will say, the fact that he wasn't added to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe until the final wave of DLC, and got outright ignored for Mario Kart World is a sin. He's a trademark character in both the Donkey Kong series and Mario spin-off games. Justice for Diddy. Kong. And there you have it. And if you want to watch more DK content, check out my other video ranking Donkey Kong's role in every game, and leave some of your Bonanza related video ideas down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.